Good afternoon and welcome. Thanks for joining me in the room and also virtually to hear about Sky Media's presentation. We're a sponsor today, pleased to be a sponsor and add value to this event and hopefully help make your businesses elite businesses. Sky our proposition is to talk to you about media and the best form of media to help accelerate the growth of your business. My name's Steve Wild. I'm the head of sales for local and development at Sky Media, and across the next 20 minutes or so I'll present a few slides and then hopefully take some questions afterwards. So when you're doing media, when you're considering marketing, there are a number of questions to consider. Engagement, what is it? How do you get an audience to respond to the advertising that you deliver to them? That's key, but even more key is to find the right audience to deliver that advertising to. So it's a combination of engagement, a combination of reaching the right audience in the most relevant amount of times, also the value that you get from the media partner that you're working with. All of those and the creative add up to get you the best results that you can. At Sky, we believe in better, doing better for our customers who are paying us for products, paying us for TV. We're providing them best content, and we're wanting to provide you, as an advertiser, the best opportunities to reach them through the media we can offer. Whenever any brand works with us, there's two considerations. One is, how does my brand become more famous? TV is the best way to make your brand famous. But also you need to see a response, you need some sales, you need activation, you need the audience to respond to that advertising. So we see it as a kind of virtual circle. Your brand connecting with audiences and your audiences connecting with your brand. Up front, when we're planning a campaign and a media activity with you, it's about getting as much insight from you about the relevant audience that you want to target, who they are, where they are, when they're watching. From a media point of view, once the campaign has delivered, it's about how do we measure, how do we attribute that the TV activity worked? How did people respond and what journey did they go through to become the customers that you want? So in a nutshell, Addressable TV, we've been working with our brand called AdSmart, where we represent Sky and Virgin Media. We've been doing this for over 10 years. Uniquely, because you have to have a set-top box in the home to know the address of the home to be able to deliver proper addressable media. So you've got two households here. On the left, they could be living next door to the guys on the right, or they could be living the other end of the country. They're different profiles in different households. That's normal. They're watching the same program. They're watching the award-winning The Last of Us on Sky Atlantic in this example. When we then go to the TV ad break, the house on the left, because they're not in your target audience, sees the ad that everybody else in the country sees in that ad break. But the house on the right, importantly, is the house that you've defined as one that you wanted to target. They see your ad. Your ad is superimposed effectively through the set-top box to match exactly the timing of the other ad that is going out nationally. So they don't know any different, that they're not seeing the ad that everybody else in the country is watching, but they do know that they're seeing an ad that's more relevant. So that's in a nutshell how AdSmart works, how real addressable TV works. There's a lot more behind it, and so what I would like to do is show you one of the advertisers that uses AdSmart. It's our own advert. We target business owners right across the country, and they respond to this advert. Hopefully this will give you a bit of an insight further into how AdSmart works.
Advertising your business can sometimes feel a bit complicated, not to mention wasteful, with lots of options that may not cut through or hit the right people. But with AdSmart from Sky, virtually any business can harness the power of TV advertising to precisely target the right people wherever they are, for a lot less than you might think. And that's exactly why you're seeing this ad. AdSmart from Sky. Join thousands of businesses growing through the power of TV.
That campaign drives about 5 or 6 times the response on a monthly basis than we'd normally get without that campaign being live. That's great. It makes a difference. Businesses connect with us and say, I understand what AdSmart can do. Can you do it for me? The key thing is that we advertise in and around proper, brand safe, trusted programming, real programming, whether they're watching it on TV or on other devices. And I'll come on to those other devices that we can deliver to. But fundamentally, AdSmart started and does deliver across live and recorded TV programming. TV, as I've already said, is the best way to build your brand. It's 5 times more trusted than social media. It's more trusted than any other media you can buy. Of course, we're not expecting everybody to spend all of their money on TV just because you can, because that's not how consumers, that's not how viewers consume all of their media. It's, you know, the difficult task you have as a client nowadays is potentially more difficult now than it ever has been, because you've got more options in your marketing mix to find out which bits work and how the combination of those work best. But hand on heart, everybody knows TV has a stronger brand recognition and presence for a brand than any other. We can make you famous, and it will affect the other media that you buy as well. The great thing is, because in a multi-channel home, whether it's Sky or Virgin, you're buying into a package of TV which gives you an opportunity to watch whatever you want to watch, whenever you want to watch it. You can record live TV and watch it when you want to watch it. The fact is, there's something there for everybody. There is content there, whether you're into true crime documentaries, news, sport, eco-friendly programming, whatever that might be, there is something for everybody. And the beauty of that means that we can reach pretty much 95% of most households in any given month. There's lots of talk about TV and how it's not as important or viewed as much as it used to be. It's completely wrong. Certainly there was a big uplift in terms of audience viewing during COVID times when everybody was at home, but that hasn't really dropped off that much at all. Live TV has dropped a certain amount of audience in the last few years, but people are watching when they want to watch in terms of video on demand, live audio, video, as well as streamed video. So from the couple of slides here, on the left you can see all viewing, the big pink bar for adults. Well over 50% of all viewing is on TV, around proper content. In terms of 16 to 34s, that is smaller, but nearly half of all viewing is to live TV and video on demand. But when you look importantly from a marketing point of view at how people are consuming the ads, not the content, the ads that are in and around the content, TV is by far away the biggest percentage of all content ads that are watched in any day, in any month. So you can again rest assured that TV has a big part to play. You've got video ads, we can deliver those to the right audiences around proper content. But when I say about proper content, it's not just live, it's not just video on demand. You need to be able to reach people when they're watching YouTube. You need to be able to reach people when they're watching digital, social, on the go. From a Sky's point of view, we deliver that proposition, proper content, brand safe, trusted content across all the platforms that they choose to watch their content on as a Sky consumer. And actually, if you're not a Sky consumer or subscriber, you can dip into our websites and our YouTube channels that are full of sport and news and entertainment anyway. So that opportunity extends beyond the 10 million households that we can reach in Addressable to potentially everybody in the country who wants to consume our content. The other great thing about TV is you buy the TV campaign, it will evidence an uplift of around all the other media that you're buying as well. There isn't any client that ever comes to us who walks away at the end and says, oh, I just saw that the TV bit worked. If you're on TV, your ads are going to work harder in the digital space. They'll work harder in the door drop, out of home space as well, because it's about brand recognition, it's about brand fame. And if you've got a consistent message, look and feel from a brand point of view, then your other media will work harder because TV is in part of the media mix, up to 54% more effective. So we believe in better outcomes. We've got some great media opportunities. How do we deliver this for brands? So a little bit more about AdSmart, which we started 10 years ago. It is the best of TV because it's on big screens, proper programs, full sound, but it is digital. We serve one impression at a time to the relevant households that we've defined with you that are your target audience. And most target audiences are between 15 and 20% of the available audience that there is, because what we're doing is limiting or minimizing the wastage of targeting people and households that are not relevant for you in your campaign. So highly targeted is what you expect from digital, response is what you expect from digital, but proper TV, proper programming. So AdSmart is kind of firmly positioned in between both of those. It is the best of both. It's unique and it can be used to drive brand fame, with the use of the kind of magic of personalisation, just targeting the households that you want to reach. So how do we do that? In terms of social demographics, there's quite a lot we know as Sky as a business about the households that we're putting the Sky Box or the Sky Glass into. So we know also what they're watching, so we can target people around their passions, their viewing passions, and their, as well as knowing the address that they live at. But we can overlay that with a myriad of data partners that we work with, and there's just a few on the screen there. Experian is probably used more by most clients than any other, whether that's a financial survey or whether it's the Mosaic survey that they have. We work with Nectar for Sainsbury's advertising for the brands that are in Sainsbury's, that then you can target brands that are in your sector on the same shelf and give very clear reports back as to how the campaigns work. So we can target by your purchasing behaviour, your consumption, by your gaming behaviour, whether you're in the market for moving house through 20CI. We can target people through MasterCard and their spend. We can target people through their search behaviour through Captify. So we used to say about this time last year about 2,000 attributes that you can use to target. It's probably now nearer 2,500 attributes. So it's non-stop. It is all about data, as we know. We're using that data to help us target the households that you want to reach. But there's also a level of geography that probably is relevant to a lot of clients. You can target nationally, but we can pick off barb regions, which are similar to TV areas, or we can pick off postcodes, local authorities, metropolitan areas, postcode sectors. We can draw a box or a radius, a drive time or mileage from your store, so that the local plumber in Sevenoaks, he's happy to be on telly every month, month in, month out, because he only wants to target people who A, live in Sevenoaks, and B, they own the house, because you don't call the plumber if the boiler goes wrong and you don't own it. So it is there for literally anybody, any brand, any client. When we work with Princess Yachts, they target people who are of high affluence, generally living in and around Knightsbridge area. That's fine. That's all that they're interested in. That's why it works for them. The other reason why this kind of addressable media that we work with called AdSmart works is because we've raised the viewing levels. So unless you see at least 75% of the ad, it doesn't count. We don't charge you for the impression. We discount the first 22 seconds of a 30-second ad. We won't charge you for it because you haven't had the opportunity to get your whole message through to the customer that you want to target. And the reason for doing that is we know that if you've seen more of the brand ad, it's going to drive more success, more uplift, more response. In the video on demand space, we only charge if you've seen 100% of the ad. So it's very different to some of the digital media propositions that you might buy. And this is, remember, full screen, sound on, full vision, proper entertainment. So we've raised the viewability, and that drives a more success for us. As I've described, we deliver impressions one at a time to the households you want to target. We are able, as a business, to deliver the digital report to you that you would expect from any digital business. So we can show how the reach grows, how the frequency is driven, and we'd recommend a frequency of, say, 7 to 9 times in a 4 to 6 week campaign. Seeing it once or twice won't have the full effect. Seeing it more than 10, 12, 14 times, you might be better off using some of your impressions that you've contracted with us to target different households. But this is about showing you how we're reaching the audience that we've defined that you want to reach. And as I said, we've done it with thousands of clients, over 4,000 clients. 70% of those clients return and repeat within a year because it works. They scale up sometimes because they've tested and learned, which we'd always condone to be the best way to use your marketing budget. And in any sector, we've worked with most brands, many brands now that are big spenders on TV, also spend on AdSmart to reach light audiences, light viewing audiences that you don't tend to get as much of on TV in the linear space. Whether you're a big brand in the finance or a small brand, a local brand, it doesn't matter. You can use AdSmart in the way that you want to reach the right audiences. So this is just 2 slides really on different sectors. Within the luxury market, we've worked with loads of brands. But it's also important to know, again, as I said, that we can target B2B audiences from a business point of view. So here's a video testimonial from one of our clients. This is the Chamber of Commerce up in Scotland, Aberdeen and Grampian area, who've used AdSmart, one campaign so far, and they're delighted, and this is their story.
Aberdeen and Grampian Chamber of Commerce offer a number of services, the kind of 6 key service lines. But I think what we wanted to do was delve into the why, which kind of sat behind that. So, you know, we exist to create the connections to grow the North East economy. Using the Sky AdSmart platform, we were able to target company directors based in the region. What this meant was we were getting in touch directly with decision makers. So it meant when leads were coming in, we were able to convert them far better because the people who were getting in touch were the people who were ultimately making the decision. I would absolutely recommend Sky AdSmart to any marketer considering a campaign. We were able to generate revenues of over £250,000 through the campaign that we ran. The return on investment was more than 10 times, and it's by far one of the most effective campaigns that I've run in my 10 years as a marketer. Not only did we get to generate a nice return for the Chamber of Commerce, but we also got to showcase our brilliant region as well. So it was a win-win.
So there you go. We've got loads of those kind of case studies on our website that you can pick off and look at for many different sectors, irrelevant of whatever target audience you are or whatever sector you work in. So I've talked about AdSmart, which, as I said, is on linear and recorded TV. It's great to be on the TV, but to be able to follow that same audience wherever they're watching the content that they choose to watch, whether it's video on demand on your laptop, on your mobile when you're on the train, whether it's with shared viewing with other people or not, or whether it's in the digital space through our apps, through the Sky's YouTube channel, through Sky's websites. We can target households that are watching content across all of those platforms, and therefore we're following that user journey. It means that we've got the opportunity to drive as much reach as we possibly can and optimize the reach, and because it's effectively targeting the right audience, we drive increased response as well. So to touch on the other platforms that we kind of deliver a one sales solution in, video on demand. On the left hand side, live linear TV viewing. It's quite a small bar. 17% of the viewing of linear is watched by 50% of viewers. So there's a lot of people, a lot of households that watch a lot of TV, but if you don't watch TV as much, the opportunity is there to deliver that audience in the video on demand space when they choose which box set they effectively want to watch when they want to watch it. So on the right hand side, video on demand, there is a higher percentage of people watching that kind of programming content, same content, but when they choose to watch it, and they are generally more light viewers of TV. So don't worry, it's about us understanding how we can reach the audience that you want in whichever space they're consuming their media. Quite often now, in the way we deliver content, in terms of video on demand, we deliver a box set that, rather than being on a scheduled TV program guide once a week, we may deliver the whole content, the whole series in one go, and people will watch that in a sort of stacked environment back to back as a box set. That's fine. You as an advertiser probably can get more response-driven advertising because it's more relevant that people are watching that content. They've chosen specifically when to watch it, and we know the audience, and you can still deliver to the same audience and get the response that you're looking to achieve. And in the digital space, our strengths are very much in kind of news, entertainment and sport. Sky is the home of news and sport in the UK from a commercial point of view. We can reach over 20 million households on an every month basis. In terms of Sky Sports, and it's the same for Sky News, we're the #1 commercial online sport and news brand in the UK. So if you want to reach those audiences, we can deliver those audiences, and we can then target and hone within those audiences, whether it's by age or demographic or region. So finally, on the last couple of slides, this isn't just about selling you a dream. It's not just about selling you some media. It's about going on a journey. It's about helping you understand how the TV campaign and the full campaign across media platforms that are relevant to your audience, how has that worked? How do we attribute that it's worked? So we've currently got 3 elements of research, one of which is brand evaluation, which assesses how your brand's performing against your competitor set, how the message is getting through to the customers that you're targeting, and we'll always take a non-exposed a level of audience away from the target audience so that we've got a kind of pre and post, a seen and a not seen, exposed versus non-exposed audience. So that's kind of proper research. That's been around for a long time. But what we've done in the last couple of years is develop two other propositions, one of which is award-winning web attribution, where we put under data share agreement a tag onto your website, or we provide you with tags to put onto your website, and we can measure the uplift of those households that we've targeted versus those that have ended up on the website. And then we can track, does somebody who's seen your ad on TV or in the other environments we're delivering advertising, do they respond differently? Do they buy quicker? Do they pay more? Do they become more loyal? Do they, is there a higher level of value to that customer that's seen your ad on TV? So we've got hundreds of case studies across all sectors for web attribution. And it's really important that we are able to attribute and evidence that our activity works, so that you can see it works, do it again, do it bigger, do more of it. So then it becomes about share of voice against your competitors. And the other area we can manage an attribution is if you can share the customers from the start of the campaign up until maybe a month or even 3 months if it's a considered purchase property that you're selling. We can measure the customers against the households that we know we serve the ads to. So you can effectively tick in the box. They saw the ad, they became a customer, tick the box. Were they an existing customer before? Are they a new customer? And we can try and then work out the value and the uplift in that value to you as a business to help you accelerate your business and grow. So from me, final video, and again, it's another testimonial from a client that has used advertising with AdSmart. They are a HR software. So over to our happy client.
I'm Carl Sadecki, the head of marketing at Breathe. The problem we were looking for AdSmart to solve was Breathe sits in a really competitive space. We're always looking for constant ways to elevate the brand presence through different channels outside of search, and this is one area that AdSmart could solve that issue. It was amazing to see Breathe on TV. Having people come up to me and saying that they'd seen the brand on TV as well really felt that we were moving the brand in the right direction. And to take our digital marketing to screen was a big step forward for the brand. This is the second time we've used AdSmart. This time we used different FSS and geo-targeting to really hone in on the people we wanted to get in front of. We worked really closely with the AdSmart team to work out who we should be focusing on and who we need to get in front of. We were really happy with the results we saw from the AdSmart campaign. Over 1.5 million impressions, 2,000 website visitors, and 6 conversions coming from what we considered just a brand awareness campaign. We saw over 100% increase in our conversions. Using web attribution, we're able to connect the dots between impressions and physical visits to the website. This allowed us to track visits directly attributed to the AdSmart campaign. From the results from both campaigns, we'll definitely look to invest in AdSmart again. AdSmart allows any business, any size or budget to get on screen.
I couldn't have said that better myself. So thank you so much for your attention. That hopefully is brought to life for you the power of TV enhanced. Are there any questions from the room? Sorry. So the minimum budget to be on AdSmart is £3,000. Okay, so that's kind of purposefully, and we've kept that level at the same since we started. Purposefully for those clients that are used to spending £1,000 to £3,000 in the digital space. So it's a very low entry point. It will buy you the ability for a kind of on average about a 6-week campaign to target 10 to 12,000 households, 6, 7, 8 times frequency. That's the kind of level of advertising that we know is what gets you good response. So you can do that in a small area, you can do it in a microcosm, and then scale it up to the full audience capacity that you want to reach. £3,000 isn't the entry point for every client, for sure, but out of the 320 plus clients that advertised with us for the first time on TV last year, about 70% of them were spending between £8,000 and £12,000 on their media. They have to come to us with the TV ad creative as well, so there is an element of cost to make the creative, but that doesn't cost anywhere near what you think either. So, you know, maybe an 8 to 12 grand campaign is quite common for a lot of brands, but there are brands that spend with us £1.5 million a year. So it really is there for anybody and everybody, any budget size. Feel comfortable with the budget you commit the first time round, with the knowledge that when you can see it works, you can scale it up beyond that. Any other questions?
Hi Steve, we've actually got some questions from the online audience. This is from Della Cook. What business sectors are the best for your proposition?
Yeah, no, that's a very good question. I'm quite often asked that. And I've shown you a couple of sectors that we work in there in terms of luxury and finance and it's kind of B2B. There really isn't a sector that isn't relevant, because once you know your target audience and we can target them, it's relevant for any client. You know, we work with, as I said, the plumber in Sevenoaks, the funeral directors in Bexhill. We work with Princess Yachts. We work with loads of car dealers. We work with the car automotive brands as well. It's about being able to do it for any business of any size out there, whether you want to do it nationally, locally, targeting very specific audiences or not. So to answer the question, there really isn't a sector that we don't work with. There are some key sectors that we work really well with and always have done, kind of car dealers, finance, some level of retail, but certainly home furnishings, estate agents, and you kind of, you know, whichever sector you're talking about, there's some really strong sectors, but it works for everybody. And I think once we're working with some of the players in that market, it's then really important that those other brands that are competing with them are doing it as well, but they can do it differently, because you can target whatever audience you like, whenever you like, with the budget that suits you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I've got another question coming through from a Paul Robbins, is how can you attribute TV's effectiveness?
So on the last slide there, and also in the Breathe testimonial, you know, it's about using data. So because we've got a knowledge of the addressable households, the address of the households that we serve the advertising to, and we recognise to a large extent the IP address as well of the maybe 4 or 5 devices that they're using in that household. We know the households we're targeting. We share the data that the client can share data with us under data share agreement, so that we can match their customer profile. Some of them who don't know who their ideal target audience is to start with will share their customer data with us, and we can profile that audience for them, and then we target that audience. Others will quite happily think they know who they're targeting, who their ideal audience is, but after we've done a kind of web attribution where we've put the tags on the website and we recognise which households we targeted that then went to the website and what action they took, we can then work with them to say, actually, because we've got a tag on the website, we don't just recognise those that visit the website as a result of the media that we've delivered them. We recognise and can profile all of the visitors to the website. So we can, after that campaign, say, perhaps these are other audiences that you might also want to target because they visit your website. So it's very much down to use of data. It's very much down to a kind of our level of performance, and we are working more to develop opportunities where we can work like you do in the digital space, tracking IP to the view or the click to the purchase and the kind of online journey that you've gone. That is definitely the way we're going in terms of performance. CTV as a performance media, and it's all about us kind of working with you as a client from the outset to understand what your return on investment is, what the KPIs that you're looking to drive, not least so that when we get to the end of the campaign, we know what we were targeting and did we deliver it, did we exceed it? And it's good to have that kind of barometer. But yeah, I mean, it is absolutely about attribution. This is not just about selling you media. Well, look, I hope that's helped you understand what addressable media can do for you. Love to explore a conversation with you from a Sky Media point of view. We're here, Christian's in the room as well, so if you've got any questions, please come and ask us. And thanks for letting us be the sponsor and coming along today.